YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 16 start and sit video for the tight end position. Of course, this is always a position that is always tough to really determine which tight end you should play unless you have, Hawkinson or Laporta or, Kittle, something like that. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. Again, if you haven't already, check out our other start and sit videos. Smash that subscribe button. Of course, don't forget the like button while you are at it as well. Hit up those other videos to help you guys out. This is week 16. We're talking semifinals for most of you in the fantasy world. Again, some good fun stuff. Enjoy your holidays. Check out these videos. And let's talk about these tight ends. Now, these are obvious tight ends you should start. Again, without a doubt. I know Kelsey's been kind of a struggle, but at this point, even with not as great as he has been, you still got to put him in your lineup just because there's always that chance of him to have a blow-up game. But otherwise, these tight ends have a great matchup or, again, getting plenty of targets. Now, the first tight end I'm going to recommend this week is going to be Hunter Henry versus the Broncos. Now, Henry is dealing with an injury, so you got to keep an eye on that. So stay tuned to any news, whether it's following us or anybody else. Just make sure you're following, because if he does play, I like this matchup a lot. The matchup against the Broncos, who are allowing 13.1 points a game, is fantastic. They're also giving up, 3 touchdowns last week to Laporta. Now, of course, Hunter Henry is not Laporta, but they are allowing a decent amount of touchdowns to the tight end position, which is about almost once a week. And again, the yardage is quite high for the tight end position. They just seem to have some issues. I love their linebackers for the Broncos. Singleton and Jewell have done really well, but I think they focus more on the run than they do the pass, and unfortunately do have some opportunities. But I like Hunter Henry. I do have concerns, again, like I said, with his injury. I'm not sure I would put Mike Gesicki if Henry does go out. I don't trust him enough, but I do like Hunter Henry a lot this week. Another tight end I like is Pat Freiermuth versus the Bengals. Look, last outing against the Bengals, Muth put up 21 points. He had 9 receptions, 120 yards, like one of his best games this whole season. Now, I understand the Steelers offense has really been bad. Like, they're just a lot going on. And now they're playing another quarterback with Mason Rudolph in. Trubisky did not play well while he filled in. And of course, Kenny Pickett is still dealing with injury. So the relationship between Mason Rudolph and Freiermuth should shine in this one. And again, the matchup's really good. Bengals are allowing 13.1 points to the tight end, just like Broncos. They're at, again, a lot of yards they're allowing. And I think really the big thing is just that there's got to be opportunities, right? Freiermuth is going to shine. I think he's going to have some red zone opportunities. And I do trust Mason Rudolph a little bit more than Trubisky. I get the idea of Trubisky, right? Trubisky has got a very good athletic background. He can run if he needs to, because that offensive line isn't playing great for the Steelers. But Mason knows this offense a lot better. He's been with this team a lot longer. I do think he's going to have a little bit of a bump for this Steelers offense. Now, another tight end I like this week is going to be David Njoku versus the Texans. Houston has been pretty solid against the tight end, but Njoku's been a pretty safe bet. Even with Flacco there, Flacco's done a great job filling in and really playing well since taking over the starting position. I get that he obviously is going to probably utilize Njoku more than I would say Amari Cooper or Elijah Moore, just because, again, your tight end is always the safety valve for the quarterback, right? Like, that's the guy you're going to throw 5 to 10 yards, get you that first down, or be the guy who's going to be able to get that jump ball in the red zone. But Njoku has done a great job. Right now, Njoku is seeing, I think it was 26 points in each of the last 2 games. Like, he has just been balling out. And you should feel comfortable with him starting. I know there's like an odd injury that just occurred, but he should be playing this week without any question. So I do like Njoku. Now, tight ends I'm going to talk about sitting. Dalton Schultz versus the Browns. In that same game, I do have I'm just nervous about starting Schultz this week. He has been pretty good, right? Like, he wasn't obviously like he was last season with the Dallas Cowboys, but he's had some good games. But without CJ Stroud again, due to the concussion, I just don't know if I feel comfortable with Case Keenum at quarterback and think that there's going to be a wow game for Schultz, right? I just feel like he's not receiving enough targets to have any effect. The Browns are pretty good at stopping the tight end, holding them to only 27 yards in the air, and of course, only 8.1 points as well. So not only is the matchup tough, but without having Stroud, I worry. I don't think he's going to get enough targets to have any value. Maybe if you have to, play a tight end and you're just kind of desperate, I get it, but I would look for something else just because I do have some concerns with that. Another tight end I'm not crazy about is Cole Kmet versus the Cardinals. Cardinals have actually been pretty good against the tight end, holding them to 38 yards and 8.5 points a game, which is okay, right? Like in the tight end space. But Kmet, as well as he has played in some games, he's also way too inconsistent. Like he hasn't shined like he did last year. And even last year, a lot of his really good games were in bunches, right? He had one game, he puts up 2 touchdowns. But if you look at the spread of the season, he has not played very well, and he's not a consistent enough tight end that I feel comfortable. I do think this is going to be more of a run-heavy game between the Bears and the Cardinals anyways, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing. I do think if Kmet has any success, of course, will always be in the red zone. Again, if I can, I'm going to go look at some other option at the tight end position. I know it's thin out there, but I'm going to sit him if I can. Another tight end I would consider sitting is Gerald Everett versus the Bills. Look, Bills haven't allowed a touchdown to a tight end in 5 games. They're holding tight ends to only 7.1 points a game. And the matchup's tough, right? Like the matchup's tough for Everett. You're obviously not playing Justin Herbert. You got Easton Stick, who, again, now 3rd game trying to figure out this offense. So there's no faith. Then you have Keenan Allen out. So now defenses are obviously going to make sure they're stopping Everett, make sure they're stopping Palmer, right? They're going to make sure they're stopping Quentin Johnston, which he does that himself, unfortunately. So the targets, maybe he'll get a slight increase just because Keenan Allen isn't there. But I'm a little nervous just because of the matchup, and I don't trust Easton Stick as my quarterback. Now, tight end, I do think is a good sleeper this week is going to be Cade Otton versus the Jaguars. Look, Jags have allowed too many points to the tight end position. They're allowing 7 targets as well to the tight end per game for 11.4 points. Like the matchup is really good for Cade Otton. Now, Cade Otton is not somebody you feel comfortable every single week. This is a streaming tight end. This is a sleeper tight end. Again, if you don't have a lot of options or if you're looking for that possible big boom play, knowing that there's a high chance for a bust, Cade Otton is your guy because he has that potential in this game for the matchup. The Jaguars are obviously going to try to focus on Mike Evans, focus on Rachaad White, and there's a lot of injuries in the back end for this team. So with that said, they're vulnerable to the pass. I do think Cade Otton is a nice little sleeper. So those are my start sits and sleepers for the tight end position. Again, if you haven't already, check out our other start and sit videos. Hit me up in the comments down below if you have some tough lineup questions. I'd love to help you guys out with that. Again, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Have a great Christmas, and I'll check you guys out next time.